Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're cutting straight through the noise to analyze a really critical infrastructure alliance. It's the deep integration announced between Stellar and Chainlink. We've gone through the extensive sources you provided detailing the tech, the strategy, the massive financial implications. Our mission here is to basically deliver the essential blueprint of this partnership directly to you.
Yeah, this is a pivotal moment. It's way more than just a technical handshake. What we're really dissecting here is a calculated strategic convergence. You've got Stellar, which honestly has been a quiet powerhouse in high volume global real world asset payments, RWAs. And they're joining forces with Chainlink. Chainlink is that infrastructure layer providing the decentralized data and interoperability you absolutely need for true institutional finance. Think of it like the final assembly of the secure pipes needed to get traditional banking onto the blockchain.
Okay, and the single biggest piece of breaking news here, the thing you really need to grasp, is this. Stellar is officially joining the Chainlink SCALE program. Now, this isn't just some minor feature update. It's a full commitment. They're integrating the foundational elements of Chainlink, the data feeds, data streams, and, crucially, the Cross-Chain Interoperability Protocol, CCIP. This action, it directly links Stellar's entire RWA ecosystem with Chainlink's huge battle-tested DeFi infrastructure. It really feels like the definitive moment where, the payment rails meet the secure global data highway.
Absolutely. And to appreciate the sheer weight of this alliance, you have to look at the scale of both players. Chainlink, it already secures, what did the sources say, tens of trillions in potential on-chain value. It basically acts as the verifiable data backbone for almost every major DeFi application out there. Its decentralized Oracle network that Dawn currently secures, I think it's over $100 billion in total value locked to TVL. That's the trust layer right there.
Right. And then you have Stellar. Often, people may mistakenly view it as a niche player, but it's far from it. Stellar's network processes billions in global payments. It's a demonstrable leader in tokenized treasuries. The sources specifically note Stellar boasts a pretty phenomenal $5.4 billion in quarterly RWA payment volume.
That's not just hypothetical capital, right? That's real institutional money already moving.
Exactly. That $5.4 billion isn't just a number. It tells you Stellar is already where institutional money is comfortable moving. Now, by opting into Scale, Stellar gets the infrastructure to, well, aim for the next zero on that number. The benefits are tangible, and they're immediate. First, access to trusted, highly secure price feeds and data streams. For compliance, for secure execution, things that are totally non-negotiable for institutional DeFi, this is mandatory.
Okay, but hold on. If Stellar already handles billions, what specific pain point does Chainlink solve for their existing customers? Why is interoperability suddenly the key ingredient they needed? That's a great question. It solves the institutional isolation problem. See, traditional finance doesn't operate in silos, and critically, they can't trust data that isn't verifiable and external. So the second major benefit is gaining true cross-chain interoperability via CCIP. The institutional future isn't going to be one single chain, it's definitely a multi-chain world. CCIP enables the seamless, secure movement of tokenized assets and the instructions that go with them across different networks.
And you mentioned a third key gain for Stellar, too. Programmable token transfers. What does that actually unlock that, simple asset transfers can't?
Right. Programmable transfers allow the asset and the embedded data or instructions to move together atomically simultaneously. For complex financial automation, think custody arrangements, multi-step settlement workflows. The kind of detailed, conditional transactions banks absolutely require this feature is a fundamental shift. It's like upgrading from just a simple wire transfer to a smart contract that ensures payment only executes when predefined conditions on the receiving chain are met. It's much smarter.
Okay, let's unpack this CCIP advantage a bit more. Because, let's be honest, we've seen cross-chain solutions fail spectacularly in the past, leading to huge losses. If I'm a global bank or a payment processor, why should I trust Chainlink's CCIP over just, say, building my own closed system?
That skepticism is exactly the right place to start. Security has to be the absolute foundation. CCIP's resilience comes from the fact that it's not a single point of failure. It's built on Chainlink's decentralized Oracle network, the Dawn. You can think of the Dawn as this massive distributed consensus mechanism that's constantly validating the legitimacy of the cross-chain data and the asset movement itself. That's why it's already secured over $100 billion in TVL. It's effectively become the industry standard for trust in the space.
So it's not theoretical security. It's security proven through active, widespread use across the industry?
Precisely. And that leads directly to its operational sophistication. the smart execution layer. This is absolutely vital for reliability, especially when you're dealing with the high-pressure peak settlement volumes that institutions inevitably generate. Imagine CCIP acting like air traffic control, but for tokens. Even during peak network congestion, it uses things like rate limits and built-in safeguards to prioritize reliable, safe delivery over just raw speed. It actively prevents those catastrophic cascading failures by, metering activity carefully.
That air traffic control analogy really makes the reliability part clearer. And you also mentioned token-agnostic transfers earlier. Is that just a convenience for developers?
It's definitely more than convenience, it's about efficiency. Token agnostic means developers don't have to modify existing token contracts. Whether it's a stablecoin or, say, a tokenized treasury bond, they don't need to change it to enable a secure cross-chain movement. This drastically reduces the time, the complexity, and frankly the risk for institutions looking to deploy their existing assets onto this emerging multi-chain ecosystem.
Okay, but let's circle back to what seems like the real power play for the financial giants. That cross-chain programmability, the ability to move instructions atomically, tokens, and data together. That sounds like the game changer for settlement.
It truly is. This is how you automate really sophisticated financial processes. Picture a multi-step settlement workflow. Let's say a trade executes on an Ethereum layer 2. That execution then triggers a custody update over on the Stellar network, and simultaneously it archives a regulatory ledger entry, maybe on Avalanche. CCIP ensures all three of those steps execute successfully, or none of them do. It's all or nothing. This level of complex coordination, all secured by the dawn, is really what makes CCIP fundamentally suitable for institutional-grade financial automation.
Now, here's the core strategic question for me. Stellar has always positioned itself as this bridge for traditional finance remittances, maybe eventual CBDCs, payment rails. Why is this specific alliance with Chainlink the critical path for them right now? What changed?
It's the ultimate accelerator for their strategy. This integration allows Stellar to rapidly and efficiently tap into the massive liquidity pools already existing in the DeFi world, and also into the quickly expanding market for tokenized treasuries, without having to spend years building that trust layer themselves. Chainlink brings that. This move is clearly designed to attract those institutional developers, the ones who require compliant, secure, and very importantly, an interoperable environment to build their next generation of products. They don't want to be locked into just one ecosystem. They need bridges.
The sources actually gave us a really perfect, simple analogy for this that sticks in your mind.
Yes, the visualization is powerful, isn't it? Stellar provides the rails, the actual infrastructure for high-volume, low-cost asset movement. And Chainlink provides the trust layer, the security, and the verifiable data needed for those rails to be considered acceptable by, compliance officers and institutional risk departments. Raja Chakravorty from the Stellar Development Foundation was pretty clear on the goal here. He said this integration will bring Stellar much closer to a truly unified on-chain financial system, one where RWAs and DeFi can coexist seamlessly.
Okay, so stepping back, what does this all mean for the wider industry? We're not just discussing a technical upgrade for Stellar here. It sounds like we're talking about accelerating the entire path toward unified on-chain finance.
Yeah, if you connect this to the bigger picture trends, it really affirms a few key things. First, we are definitively entering the institutional-grade tokenization era. Real-world assets, treasuries, bonds, equities, stablecoins, they can now move securely across chains. This breaks down the siloed structure that's honestly plagued a lot of early blockchain deployments. Second, this is the interoperability era in action. By using CCIP, Stellar can now plug directly into major liquidity ecosystems like Ethereum, Avalanche, Polygon, dramatically expanding its addressable market and its utility almost instantly.
So this looks like a major push toward DeFi and TradFi convergence, but not as two separate industries, more like one integrated infrastructure.
Exactly. This kind of infrastructure allows traditional players, think major banks, global payment processors, big fintechs, to access trusted external data and liquidity across multiple chains, securely and compliantly. And, critically, this positions Stellar squarely in the same competitive space, or at least conversation, as major legacy players. Players like Swift, Euroclear, MasterCard, all of whom, by the way, are already utilizing Chainlink infrastructure for their own experiments and pilots into tokenization and cross-border settlement.
Interesting. Our sources even hinted at a new landscape being drawn, mentioning a ripple effect, with XRP focusing on public treasuries and now Stellar committing to this top-tier data and interoperability standard. Are we seeing the lines drawn for a new kind of arms race for on-chain liquidity dominance?
That's a really key strategic takeaway, I think. Success in this next phase won't just be about having the fastest chain. It's going to be about which platform offers the best, most secure interoperability and the most trusted data standards. That's what institutions need. By adopting Chainlink so deeply, Stellar dramatically raises the bar on both counts. They're essentially, you could say, future-proofing their institutional play.
Okay, to ground these sort of high-level strategic concepts, let's quickly zoom in on some concrete proof points and metrics from the sources, just so you can see this technology actually working.
Yeah, good idea. We have some powerful evidence that institutions are really ready for this shift. First, look at the SwiftX Chainlink pilot. You had 11 global banks successfully testing cross-chain settlement using CCIP. That's a massive endorsement of the tech's ability to handle highly regulated traffic. Then, the appetite for the underlying asset itself is crystal clear with BlackRock's tokenized treasury fund, BUIDL. That just showcases overwhelming institutional demand for RWAs on-chain. The demand is there.
And Stiller's own history provides some proof of concept too, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You look at the success of Stellar 8 Assist, that demonstrated the network's capacity to handle huge volumes of fast, global payments, reliably and at very low cost. It proved its utility as a core payment rail. So when you combine those proven rails with Chainlink's institutional-grade trust layer, that projected growth reaching that $5.4 billion per quarter RWA volume metric, it suddenly becomes much more believable. It's the infrastructure that unlocks that kind of growth.
Right. So to synthesize this entire deep dive then, the Stellar and Chainlink alliance, it's far more than just a simple technical integration. It's really the creation of crucial, secure, and interoperable rails. Rails specifically designed to onboard institutional assets and liquidity into a compliant multi-chain financial future. They seem to be building the very infrastructure that TradFi hasn't just been waiting for, but actively demanding.
Exactly. And that infrastructure, it leads us right to the final provocative thought for you, the listener, to explore. Given this deep integration we've discussed and the proven institutional appetite for real-world assets like treasuries and bonds, is this the moment DeFi finally becomes Wall Street ready? And perhaps more importantly, what other legacy financial institutions will now be forced to follow suit to avoid being left behind in this major shift to decentralized settlement?
That really is the defining question for the next few years of digital finance. We definitely encourage you to keep exploring these crucial topics. And hey, if you found this breakdown valuable, taking just a moment to subscribe, comment, and engage with the material, it really helps support our ability to keep creating quality crypto content like this. It boosts visibility for other learners like you. Stellar and Chainlink are building the next generation of financial rails, and we'll certainly be here covering every step. Thanks for diving deep with us.